Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us for the Omega Recruit webinar. My name is Amanda, and today I'll be going over tips for a successful recruitment season. Hannah is also joining me, and she will answer any questions you may have throughout the webinar. I'll also answer some of those at the end as well. But if you will, please go ahead and introduce yourself in the question chat by telling us what organization you're with so we can make sure that we see those as they're coming in. And while you're doing that, Hannah is going to tell us who Omega Phi is, give a little bit of an introduction, and then we'll get started with the webinar.
Thank you, Amanda. So for more than 30 years, OmegaFi has provided technology solutions to help customers manage their finances, streamline their operations, recruit new members, and communicate with their members. Whether it's working with 57 different headquarters or local chapters, house corporations, IFC and Panhellenic councils, and alumni associations across more than 650 campuses, we remain the industry leader when it comes to technology in the fraternity and sorority community. Based out of Columbus, Georgia, we securely process more than $1.1 million per day for our clients and have securely processed more than $4 billion since 1992. We're also deeply committed to serving, promoting, and advancing the fraternity and sorority experience. We aim to make raving fans with every individual or group we work with by reaching, innovating, and acting with agility. We challenge ourselves to dream big each and every day and help others achieve their own dreams. To say we're passionate about what we do is definitely an understatement, and it's this passion that has encouraged our clients to trust us to do the heavy lifting so they can focus on their mission and having fun.
Thanks, Hannah. All right, so for our webinar tonight, we are going to go over tips for a successful recruitment, logins and account setup. We'll look at the main menu and features within Omega Recruit, and then we'll go over voting and reporting. And then again, at the end, we'll do some Q&A. 3 things we recommend as best practices before getting into recruitment season are logging in, have all your members be logged in to the Omega Recruit system at least 1 week before recruitment starts, if not earlier, if you all plan to run mock recruitment sessions. Practicing, we highly encourage that you run through a practice version of recruitment with all your members using our test files, so all your users can get the feel of Omega Recruit and how they will submit their votes. And training. As the admin for your chapter, make sure you are using the resources we have provided for you to learn the system and use it to its fullest potential. You can review webinars like this one, articles in our Help Center, which we will show you later, as well as review the training information within Omega Recruit. These practices will set you up to have the best recruitment possible. As an admin, if your account is new, you will get an email that looks like this to begin the setup and get logged in. For members, they will get an email like this one to set up their account. If a member has never used Omega Recruit before, that member must complete registration. A registration link is sent to members via email to the email address shown on the user list. If members used Omega Recruit in a previous year, they should be able to go ahead and log in with the same email and password they previously used. So let's look at how to add those users so they can get logged in. If you have yet to put in your recruitment dates, when you log in, you will see this pop up. We'll go ahead and enter those dates under the Edit Chapter tab on the page it directs you to. So now that we have put those in, we can head over to add our users. This is where you can view all of the users that have been added for your chapter. This is where you can also manage groups, starring the user, marking them as an admin, restricting their access, deleting users, and resending registration emails. And this is where you will add users. This can be done individually or en masse by uploading an Excel spreadsheet. We want to help you make recruitment easy as 1, 2, 3. So today we are breaking the process into 3 steps of setting up your rounds, uploading your P&M list, and uploading your parties. After these steps, you will be good to go to start getting in votes. When you first sign in to Omega Recruit, you will see the setup page. This page will walk you through each of the steps to set your chapter up for recruitment. Practice files are included on this page as well. That way you can run through a practice recruitment with fake data prior to the real deal. We do not recommend practicing with actual recruitment data, so we provide these files for you. You can download them by clicking on each one. Each of the steps for setup are numbered and have a clickable link to take you to the Omega Recruit page where you can complete them. You can also go to each of these pages from the menu on the left side of the page. So let's begin with step 1 and set up our rounds. As you can see, this takes us directly to our Edit Rounds page. You will use the Add Round button to create all of the rounds for your recruitment. You will notice that the preference round flag will always move to be the last round. We recommend setting up all of your rounds at the same time. For this example, we will create 3 rounds. It's important to make sure to set all of them up initially to ensure that the system will calculate scores correctly. For each round, you can click on the pencil icon to rename it. As a note, if your parties stretch over multiple days but are still under the same round, then you would only set up 1 round for that, and you will be able to close voting at the end of each night and reopen that for the same round the next day. So I'm going to go ahead and rename these. You can also adjust each round between open voting and party voting. Open voting means that all P&Ms will be available on the ballot for members to choose from. If you use party voting, you can separate the P&Ms out into the parties they will be visiting your chapter in. This limits the P&Ms available on the ballot to only the P&Ms that are in that party. This can save your members time in finding the correct P&M on the ballot. You will want to make sure you select the exact number of parties that the round will have. Since we are using the practice files today, our open house round will have 12 parties, and our sisterhood round will have 9 parties. Now that we have set up our rounds, we will click on the Save button. Your rounds will not be fully set up until you have saved this page. Once you select the Save icon, the page will refresh. Make sure you set up all your rounds at the same time. This will ensure that all your calculations are correct as you go through recruitment, especially if your national organization has a specific configuration. So now we're ready to move on to step 2. You can get back to the setup page by going to the P&M list under the P&M menu. You will see that step 1 has disappeared since we have completed this step already. Step number 2 is to upload the P&Ms. So we're going to click there. Uploading your P&Ms may look a little different depending on your school. If your campus uses ICS, you can connect to ICS. Once you have connected to ICS, this page will look a little different, and you will have a button to import from ICS. If your campus uses Campus Director, you will need to download a file of your P&Ms from Campus Director and upload it here. I do want to note here that even if your campus uses ICS, you still have the ability to run through a practice recruitment using the test files. You will first want to make sure you are disconnected from ICS, upload the practice files and practice, then you will connect back to ICS for actual recruitment. I will show you later where you can disconnect from ICS. To assist with the upload process, we provide detailed instructions and examples for how your file needs to be set up for a successful upload. Your file will need to look exactly like what is pictured here. Please keep in mind that any special formatting can get in the way of the system being able to read the data from your file. You will not want to have any sort of bolding, highlighting, sorting, filters, etc. Your file should be as plain as possible. Make sure to review all the columns listed and that the formatting for those is correct. For example, for class names, that should be freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. Otherwise, it will not load into the system properly. Same with making sure P&Ms have GPAs listed if those are used in your calculations. These are common mistakes that occur when uploading, and depending on your chapter scoring can affect the overall. So when troubleshooting, make sure to review this file carefully. The headers for each column are very important and must exactly match what is listed here. If it does not exactly match one of these options, the system may not accept the file, or that data may not be successfully uploaded for that column. An example of one common mistake we see is the pictures. As you can see, the column header must be listed as either URL or P&M picture. This means if you upload it as picture or P&M URL or any other variation, your pictures will not successfully upload. We do include the option for custom columns. If you have any data that you want to include, but there is not a designated column header, you can label this column as custom 1, custom 2, etc. You will be able to rename the column header once the data has been uploaded into the system, and we can go over that later as well. Finally, you have to make sure that the file is saved as an Excel 97-2003 workbook or as an XLS. This is very important and can prevent your file from being successfully uploaded. Once you have uploaded your file, you will want to look for, let me upload the file first. To upload the file, you'll click on the Choose File and then Upload P&Ms. So once you have uploaded your file, you'll want to look for this green box letting you know that your upload was successful. If it was not, any issues will be listed below. So for this example, our upload was successful, but we were missing an unrequired column. For any issues, it will list the exact row where the issue occurred. This will allow you to easily identify and fix the issue before uploading your file again. So now that we've uploaded the P&Ms, we can go back to the P&M list. And from here on the P&M list, to get back to the steps, you'll just click on Setup, and then you can close it to look at the P&M list. So you'll also notice here that step 2 has disappeared since we uploaded our P&Ms. Step 3 is also missing, but it should be to upload your users. Since this is a test account, I already have users listed in the system, so it is not there. You do not necessarily have to do all of these steps in the exact order they are listed. We will talk about uploading users in just a minute. For now, we are actually going to jump to step 5, which is uploading your parties. This is another page that may look slightly different if you have connected to ICS. If you have, you will have a button to import from ICS. If your campus uses Campus Director, you will need to download a file of the party assignments from Campus Director and upload it here. Once again, we do provide detailed instructions and examples to ensure the upload is seamless. You will notice that this file is much simpler than the P&M file. You only need 2 columns, the MIN and the party. When you download the file from Campus Director, it will have much more information on it. So you will need to clean up the file. Again, you will also want to make sure it is a plain file and that it is saved as an Excel 97-2003 workbook. Once you have updated your file, you can upload it and select the round you are uploading the parties for. Please make sure you have included all parties for the round in the same file. Any P&Ms not assigned to a party will be updated to an active status of regret. So I will go ahead and upload the first party file for the open house round. Once again, we will look for that green box to let us know that our upload was successful. With most updates in Omega Recruit, you can always look for that green box to know that your update was successful. So returning back to the P&M list and the setup page, you will see that steps 4 through 7 will remain. This is because we will repeat them throughout the rest of recruitment. We will advance through the rounds, upload our parties for each round, collect votes, and manage the P&Ms. Now that we have reviewed setting your chapter up for recruitment, we will discuss the rest of the menu items found on the left-hand side of the page. Everything we reviewed from the setup page can be found within the menu as well, but there are also a few other pages. So we're going to start with the P&M menu. And the first option is the P&M list. As a reminder, this is the page we can get to the setup page from by clicking on Setup in the top left corner. The P&M list is the primary hub of information for administrators. This is where you can review all P&Ms, their information, and scores. If we click on this hamburger menu in the right-hand corner, we will have a few options. The refresh and recalculate options can be used to make sure you have the most up-to-date information and scores. If you select Export P&M List, it will export a report of all the P&M information. If you choose the Select Columns option, you can see all of the columns that you can show on the P&M list. You can select and deselect as many columns as you need, depending on what you are looking for. Sometimes you may want to see round scores, other times you may want to see P&M background information. You can always come here and adjust the columns depending on your goal at that time. For now, we will just deselect some of the rounds. And then we're going to add interest, starred, and legacy, and then admin notes. You will see that the columns were adjusted to show these new columns. For many columns, like the interest and admin notes, you can double click to add or adjust the content. So you can double click and then just add notes. Another column you may need to double click on is the picture column. If you ever need to add or edit a picture, you can double click on the cell to edit the URL listed. Most campuses will provide the URLs for all P&Ms. If one is not available, you can get one online as long as you can right-click on the image and copy image address, and then paste that URL here. This must be an image address and not just a URL for the page where the picture is located. If you plan to use the starred feature for the matching tool, you will need to star P&Ms and users. To star a P&M, you can double click on the star in the star column. You can also rearrange the columns if you need to. You will just highlight any column you want to move and then drag and drop them to a different location. But please keep in mind, once you leave the P&M list, the order will rearrange back to the original order. At the top of the page, you will see that you can search and sort the P&M list. To search, you can type in any words that appear on the P&M list, even if the columns are not showing at this time. So for example, we can search for freshman, and then it will sort and show you the freshmen. This will adjust the P&M list to show P&Ms with freshmen somewhere in their profile. This may come from a column other than the class column, so please keep that in mind. Sometimes we see the word freshman appear in their interest column. We recommend clicking on the eye icon next to the search bar to review all of the advanced search items. If you find that you are getting too many P&Ms for your search, you may need to adjust the wording in the profile or adjust your search. There are many advanced search options, and this can help you to best search for the information you are looking for. To sort the list, you can either type the criteria in the sort bar, or you can double click on the header of the column you want to sort by. So we're going to double click on the Party tab to show the P&Ms in ascending party order. If we click on the menu icon again, there is also an option for a slideshow. This is one of two slideshow options that are available in Omega Recruit. We call this the P&M list slideshow. This is an in-browser slideshow. Any P&Ms currently showing on the P&M list. So if you search for freshmen on your P&M list, only the freshman P&Ms will appear on your slideshow. The menu icon in the top right corner will allow you to select which columns you want to view. You can use the arrow keys on your keyboard to flip between the P&Ms. If you need to save or print the slideshow, you can select the P key from your keyboard. This will allow you to print the slideshow or save it as a PDF. Once you click on the letter P key, the screen will turn blue. You can then right-click and go to Print. This will show you a print preview and allow you to either print or save the slideshow as a PDF. If the information does not all fit, you may need to use the More Settings section to adjust the scaling and margins. Once we have everything saved, we can use the Escape key on the keyboard to return to the P&M list. Now that we have reviewed the P&M list, let's take a look at everything else in the P&M's menu. To add P&Ms, this is where you can manually add them one at a time, and you will note that the only required information to add a P&M is the MIN, first name, and last name. If you're just adding one, you may want to use this page. Or you can also use the Upload P&Ms. This is the page that we went to earlier. We uploaded our P&Ms from here. You can always upload your P&Ms from an Excel spreadsheet no matter where you are at in the recruitment process. If you are uploading additional P&Ms, the system will only add P&Ms that have an MIN that is not already on the P&M list. This will ensure that only new P&Ms are added, and there are not duplicate P&Ms. You will not lose any data from this process. After that is the Upload Parties page. As you may remember, we went to this page to upload our parties. Each round, we will return to this page and upload our next round of party assignments. Since we have the practice file, we're going to go ahead and upload the next round. Now we're going to look at all of the report options. So under the P&M menu, there will be a comments report and Recs report if you are using the recommendations. And then there is a report section. This is where most of your reports can be found. The P&Ms report will show you a summary of the P&Ms and their scores. This can be a great report to start your list at the end of each round. You can select to only include active P&Ms and if you want to include comments. So when looking at the report, do not be concerned if you see a lot of negative ones. This is what will show until votes have been submitted for that P&M for that round. You have quite a few options for the votes report and can use this to show the exact votes that have been submitted, including who submitted them and what the values of each vote were. The comments report will show a timestamped list of all comments that have been submitted on the ballot. This slideshow report is the second slideshow option available in Omega Recruit. This will create a PowerPoint of the P&Ms. It does not include as much information as the other slideshow, but it is in PowerPoint format, which some people prefer. We also have the voter distribution tab. This will show an overall distribution report that can show voting trends for the chapter as a whole. We also offer this information for each P&M and user in case you would like to see this information broken down. We saw the P&M report earlier and we'll see the user report shortly. Distribution reports can help you to better analyze and understand the data and trends behind the votes being submitted. Finally, we have the voter audit report. This will show any changes to votes that have been made. We'll look at how you can change votes later, but if a member incorrectly records a vote, votes on the incorrect P&M, or whatever it may be, you are able as an admin to update this. This vote is a log of all of those changes. It will show who made the update, what the original score was, and what it was changed to, even what time that was made. If your organization has categories, it will also show which one of those votes was changed. We also have a hub. This shows graphs of key data points. With any of these graphs, you click on the arrow in the bottom right corner to view the data points that were used to create the graph. These can also be downloaded to Excel using the download icon. This is another way to review the data on a deeper level and make the most of the information that is available to you. Below the Hub menu item is the matching feature. This tool is not a primary function of Omega Recruit, but can help you sort through the data in Omega Recruit to determine which members should speak with each of the P&Ms that will be visiting during the next round. There are 4 criteria you can use to generate potential matches. Recommendations, which are submitted by members on the ballot, starred P&Ms or members, which we reviewed how to start a P&M and we'll show starring members in a moment. Interest and hometown. If you use these features, your members will need to update their match profile so that there is data available for them. And we'll talk more about that in just a little bit. For all of these items, you can select if they should be used, adjust the importance of them, and select if they need to be required. If it is required, this means that the system will not recognize it as a match unless that category is met. So if we require recommendations, even if a member and a P&M are from the same hometown, the system will not recognize it as a match unless there is also a recommendation for the member and P&M. If you ever need a report of all of the matches that members have submitted, you can deselect all of the other options and only use the recommendations category. This will generate a report of just this information. At the bottom, you will see an option for the maximum number of matches. This can be any number between 1 and 500, but we recommend starting somewhere between 2 and 5 matches. The higher the maximum, the more potential matches you will have to sort through. Finally, you will select the round and parties and select Generate. This will show you a list of potential matches based on the criteria you selected. You can select the plus sign to see the details of each match. If you need to remove any, you can select the box on the right side and then click the delete button at the bottom. You can also add a match manually by selecting Add New Match from the bottom. This will allow you to manually add any matches that were not generated automatically. We recommend making any adjustments like this, and then you can select to export the report to either Excel or PDF by using the buttons at the top of the page. You can toggle between the reports by using the results from the drop-down menu. If you ever regenerate the report for a round, it will overwrite the previous report for that round. Below the matching menu item is a vote tab. This is where voting members will access the ballot to cast their vote for P&Ms. I'll cover this in further detail in just a little while, as organization administrators cannot access the ballot. As previously covered, this is where you will manage voting rounds on this page. You can advance your party's rounds, edit your chapter information, edit custom columns that will appear on the P&M list, connect or disconnect to ICS if your campus uses ICS, and finally, you can initiate a master reset here. This can be used if you are between a practice or previous recruitment and current recruitment to clear out all of your fake or previous recruitment data without removing your voting members for when the next recruitment starts. Do not hit master reset if you are in the middle of recruitment, because it will clear out all of your information and you'll lose all of your votes. Under the chapter menu, you'll see the configuration page. This page will house all the details regarding your specific organization's voting information. If you have that, it will show as your organization's name. And then for additional help, you can click on this support button and send a message to our support team. We highly recommend you making sure that you fill out the whole form in its entirety so they know exactly how to assist you. But we do recommend using the recruitment email, which I will show you on the PowerPoint in just a few minutes. That will go directly to their inbox. And since you are in recruitment season right now, we know that some of those are time sensitive and need to be answered right away. So it's recommended to use the email first before coming to the support page. We also have our help center, which has videos and webinars such as this one, different articles that can help you throughout your recruitment process. So now we're going to go over what the voting process looks like for your members. So after an administrator advances the round, voting members, also users, will sign in to Omega Recruit and access ballot to place their votes. All your voting members need to do to use the system is register, log in, and cast their votes. A quick note here, the ballot appearance and voting scales will vary from organization to organization, so do not be alarmed if your ballots look different than the one shown here. Additionally, voting options and scales are set up by your national organization, and chapters do not have access to change them. So once they are logged in, users will go select the P&M's name from the drop-down list on the ballot. Once a P&M is selected, they can also select the light bulb icon to view more information about the person. After viewing the information about the P&M, the user can then select the page icon to go back to the ballot. On the ballot, they select their score and enter any comments about the P&M. If your organization uses the matching feature, your users can also select a recommended sister match if appropriate. The sisters in this pick list are the users who were starred in the user list. Once the ballot is complete, the user selects submit. So I'm going to go ahead and add a few more votes so we have some data to review. Now we will return back to look at the different voting activity. There's several places that you can view that. The top section of the left menu always displays real-time data on the number of users, P&Ms, and votes. Also, the P&M list shows vote counts and averages for each round. So we're going to go back to the P&M list. And to view individual votes for P&M, you will select the P&M's name and go to the Vote Details tab. You can also select the Comments tab to see comments your users submitted for that member. The Recruitment Stats tab shows a scoring distribution. If you need to add a vote for a user, first make certain you are in the round party that the vote needs to be submitted in. You can always double check the round in the top left of the menu bar. If not, you can go to the chapter menu and the advanced round party. To update the open round party the vote needs to be submitted in. Once you have confirmed you're in the correct round, then you can go to Users and then the user list, and you can select the user and you can either edit or delete votes, or you can add a vote. If you need to edit or delete, you can click on edit. You'll update the vote and then hit save, or if you figure out that that's not the correct person, you can click cancel and go to the correct person. As a reminder, we have many resources to help you with the application. So again, under the Help Center, we have videos and webinars. And then, as I said earlier, we have an email address here, recruitmentsupport@omegafy.com. So make sure that you screenshot this or write it down. So if you're in the middle of recruitment and you need a quick answer to a question or issue you're having, you'll want to email that support email address. That is everything I have for you tonight. Hannah, were there any questions?
Yeah, they just wanted to double check about adding rounds. So if they have multiple days for their rounds, so if like round 1 is 3 days or round 2 is 2 days, stuff like that, how they would put that in.
Sure.
Mhm.
So you will do that by going if it's over multiple days, you don't need to set up multiple rounds. You would just say you had a party tonight and then you're going to have some more parties tomorrow in the same round. You would go to the chapter menu and then you would just close this so no more votes can come in, and then you would reopen it again tomorrow.
Okay, perfect. And then I have another question. If you could go back to the PNM screen with all the steps on it. Um, she was just asking how they can get those test files for the fake PNMs. And Amanda, you can show them. They're downloadable when you just click either the PNM or the parties. It'll automatically download those to your computer. And then I think we had one more. It was just like kind of troubleshooting login issues. So they said some of their members were having a problem logging in. Um, I know you have the email at the end of the webinar that you just showed them that they can email for help, but they also probably just double check that their user email is the one that they're logging in with. Sometimes people will log in with their school email, but when you look at them on a Mega Recruit, it's actually their personal email address. So you can just go under users and then view the email that's there. If it's the wrong one, you'll just delete that user and then re-add them with the email address that they'd like to use.
Yes, and if they still have this send registration email, you can send that to them again and get them to sign up that way as well.
I think that's all the questions that I have. Yep, it looks like we covered all of them. So if anything else comes up, you guys can just email that email address that Amanda had listed, and then our support team. It is 24/7 recruitment support. So whenever you send something in, we'll have a team member that'll be able to get back to you pretty quickly.
All right, well, thanks, Hannah. You guys have a great evening and good luck in recruitment.